He applied it to different areas of security. He set up a forum with a mailing list associated with it, and he started posting stuff. He attracted a bunch of contributors. So on my whiteboard is the Eco Craigometer. This is how we measured his progress through his internship. And you see down here, we started with just Craig. That was the whole ecosystem. And after he set up the website and started doing some of these articles, his ecosystem started building. And as he attracted contributors, his ecosystem grew. And I believe he's on his way towards what I consider survival. Once his ecosystem grows to a point where it will survive on its own without him, he's reached a critical threshold in the growth of the Python security ecosystem. And as we continue up, we're going to see papers coming out, security research. They're already talking about building static analysis tools for Python on the mailing list. He's going to make progress in that ecosystem and push Python security farther than where it's been before. Ultimately, he's going to generate what I consider the top of the thermometer is a thriving ecosystem focused on Python security that as it's in its operation is producing as an artifact, as its output, security. So I want to talk about a few things that help ecosystems grow. And the first thing I want to focus on is visibility. Our mission at OWASP is to make application security visible, and I want to talk about that a little bit. Visibility is critically important to creating ecosystems. Once you gather the available information that's out there about whatever your ecosystem is, and remember, an ecosystem can be focused on a particular technology, like crypto or Python. It might be focused on a set of risks, like phishing. It might be focused on sort of a class of technology, like cloud computing or mobile. We have a thriving ecosystem here at OWASP focused on web application security. Some people have argued that it's broader. We should be called OWASP, because we're not really only focused on web, but we're building an ecosystem. You can build an ecosystem around anything that you care about. Anything that you want to be secure should have an ecosystem around it, because it's through the operation of that ecosystem that we produce security. Visibility is critical. It feeds the ecosystem with data. As you make this information concrete and visible, people can look at it. And the people who are motivated by finding holes in stuff will find holes, and they should make those visible in the environment. The builders can then see those holes and come up with solutions for those problems and make those visible. So we're trying to make, one of the big missions of OWASP is to make application security visible, because it's a key part of producing a working ecosystem. So there's two other things that I'd like to focus on that encourage application security. We need to reward participation in the ecosystem. So it's not enough to just make things visible. We need to attract participants to the ecosystem and reward their contributions. Now think about how that works right now. So I've been deeply involved in creating the OWASP SAPI project and CSRF Guard and some other builder kinds of projects. And I got to tell you, there's not a huge amount of incentive to create security controls out there. There's really not much reward in it, right? You do take a lot of grief from the people that like to poke holes in things, which is fine. I like that. But there's not a lot of incentive for people to reach out and create security controls. And I actually think the incentives are not very good on the breaker side either to participate in security ecosystems. Think about how our world is set up with responsible disclosure problems and a lot of factors that make it difficult for security researchers doing great work on the breaker side to participate. I think a lot of folks have just sort of given up releasing information about vulnerabilities that they find and so on. So I think we need to really focus on creating the right incentives for people to participate in a security ecosystem. Now, I think OWASP has done a decent job of attracting both builders and breakers, and I think that's one of the unique things about our community here is that we have both of those sides of the interaction working. Microsoft's done an interesting job here as well. I think they've done a nice job of reaching out to researchers with their Blue Hat conference and attracting them to participate with them. They invite researchers in, they have informal talks and settings, and they focus on moving their ecosystem down the road so that they end up more secure. Which brings me to the third thing that we need to focus on when we're building an ecosystem. We need to have a force that drives our ecosystems forward. We need to have a reason why. So I think of this like, what is the natural selection in our security ecosystems? What steers them towards making security work? And I thought about this for a while. And I think what we need to focus on is making security easy and strong for developers. They need to have a way to easily make their applications secure. And I'd like to point out what the crypto community has done here. The crypto community mostly focuses on strong, right? Everything revolves around making strong crypto, but really not so much on making that crypto easy to use. And that's why we see that the problems in the crypto community are not really related to the strength of the algorithms, but to the usability. Things like key management and revocation and things that are important are almost impossible to get right for developers. So we need to change the natural selection force in the crypto ecosystem in order to get the result that we want. Easy security for developers. So those are the three forces that I believe we need to focus on to create new security ecosystems. So I want you I want to share a little story about my past. So when I was in college, I rode on the crew team, and my coach brought me aside. He said, "Jeff, whenever I try to coach you, you just pull harder." He was trying to get me to learn the technique of rowing, and every time he tried to say something to me, I would just pull really harder. He said, "Jeff, you're like an acorn. I want you to grow into a mighty oak tree, but every time I coach you, you just turn into a gigantic acorn." And we're in serious danger of doing this in the application security world, right? We are not going to get secure by trying to hack ourselves harder. I've said that many times before. We're not going to hack ourselves secure. And I don't think that we can look at what corporations or what big companies are doing today because it's not working. We can't just do that harder. We need new thinking about this. So last year, along with David Rice, who's doing a keynote here at OWASP conference, and Josh Corman, we started a movement called Rugged Software. And you may have noticed that there's not a whole lot to the rugged software movement. If you go to the website, there's a list of principles, wiki that's pretty much empty. We recognize that. We've taken some heat for that. But frankly, we don't know how to make rugged code. We've got a challenge to figure out how to do it. And I don't think what we want to do at Rugged is try to recreate a maturity model or recreate, go over tired practices that we've done before and are not working. What we need is some new thinking around rugged code. We're trying to create a new way of thinking about application security. And to me, being rugged is a goal. And I believe that the path to ruggedness is through the operation of a healthy security ecosystem. I think basically what you have to do is anytime you want security, set up a security ecosystem and let it work its magic. Through its operation, it will produce security. So in closing, I just want to let you know, OWASP is going to focus on creating security ecosystems around important technologies and around different security vulnerabilities and so on. We need to do this to drive security forward. And I want to reach out to you. If you're interested in becoming an OWASP security ecosystem leader, I want you to contact me. There are a huge number of opportunities to be the focal point for one of these ecosystems, just like Craig is doing with pythonsecurity.org. So I want you to reach out to me, and OWASP will support you in creating an ecosystem. We can drive, we can promote, we can help you create a working ecosystem that will actually produce security and hopefully change the way that world that I described operates. So in closing, I would just like to say, may 1,000 security ecosystems bloom. Thank you all for coming. I hope you have a great conference, and I look forward to meeting all of you and sealing up our security ecosystem here. Thanks.